All right, everybody out there in the Craft Chest Nation, it's I, Craft Chest here, and today I just want to sit back and have a discussion in this video and ask some questions of you. And by the way, we have some Blade and Soul playing on this video here, which I have my little overlay going on, and so you can see some cutscenes and what have you from the actual gameplay. And Blade and cutscenes is actually pretty flippin' fun now. It's been a long time. I wanted to go back and revisit it, because they've had some major changes and updates, especially to the premium service that they offer. So that's why I decided this is what we've been doing a playthrough on. And I currently have a gunslinger up to what they call Hung Moon level 8, which is basically 55 plus the other 3 levels to get up there. And okay, we got the volume right there. So basically what I want to do is just go over a tweet that I wanted to do today, because I've heard a lot of discussion out there between streamers, between people that I know, and it is an ongoing question in which direction a lot of games are going, which is pay to win. Now, before I go any farther, this is just my opinion. By no means is this definitive, but I just want to discuss it because it's important for making decisions on what you can and cannot play, what you can and cannot afford to pay for either advantage, pay for convenience, pay for premium membership or elite status or value packs or whatever the game wants to call it. Basically a subscription for a free-to-play MMO out there. And of course we have its own animal out there, which is World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, etc. on that side, where it's just subscription based and everything that's in the game is basically obtainable in the game because of such. But I'm sure there are some people out there that would have opinions about pay to win in those games as well. But here's the question that I posed. And basically that's the first sentence. If you had disposable income, and what I mean by that, if you could just make it rain in a game, buy whatever it is that you wanted to buy from the cash shop to get an advantage in the game, or to get maxed out gear if you're min-maxing your character and it's in the cash shop, to make it easier to get. What game is that? What game are you playing? What game are you going to spend that money on? What would you buy and why? To what end? And I believe that is an awesome question to ask, especially whenever you go into playing a game, to see if there's certain paywalls that you hit, especially in the MMO genre. Because I can name some old games that literally had paywalls, and you literally had to spend money in the cash shop in order to get past plus 8, plus 9, plus 10 gear. And that could get very expensive, seeing that one of the games in particular that I have in mind, you could go all the way up to plus 15, and you could only safely plus your gear to level 7, and you could take the chance to go 8, 9, 10, but if you failed on your attempt to plus the gear, it would break and you would lose the gear. Yes. And don't even think about PK gear, because this particular game, you either get it or you don't. And if you don't protect it, you're just shit out of luck, and you have to start all over to go and gather all the essences and everything else it is to make that particular weapon or armor, etc., etc. All right. So there are some games out there that I know that you just hit a brick wall, that paywall. But that said, there's a lot of MMOs out there that have made changes to their games because they see that people aren't going to play their game because of that mechanic. Blade and Soul, in my opinion, is one of those games that allows you now to do a playthrough, play the story quest. There are some elite quests out there, or legendary quests, and I actually did one of those storylines off stream last night. I ended the stream and I was like, what is this gold thing down here? And I just kept going, and when it was all said and done, I gained materials to get my first legendary weapon, which is a baleful weapon. I got it to plus 3 already. Going through this legendary quest all the way up to a dungeon that I have to complete next, I got enough to get my gear to plus 6 with just in-game progress. And that's what I love about some MMOs, is that they allow you to do so. I wish that more MMOs like Black Desert Online would take that model and let you earn your way to better gear. I love that particular model of gameplay. Now, of course, yeah, you're going to get impatient and you're going to need that one crystal, but it only sells at a 10-pack. Or they're 35 whatever in coin or C coin or whatever it is out there, and you're going to spend a couple of dollars. I believe that I actually paid for one premium service on Blade and Soul back when it first launched, plus a couple of dollars to get an outfit, because I started with a Blade Dancer, and I was like, you know what, let's pimp this dude out. Let's see what potential we have, you know, what kind of costumes, yada, yada, yada. And that's basically all I did. And yeah, I'm sure I bought a few materials. But I put the game down, and still to this day, I was asking everybody that I played with, why did I even stop playing Blade and Soul? Because, see, y'all have, like, max level characters and all that from back whenever the max level cap was 45. And I know that they went through a lot of changes September of last year and in early 2018. And it's like a completely different playthrough now. And I'm loving it. There are some annoying spots in the game as far as, you know, a little bit of tick lag or whatever. But rumor on the vine says that they're actually recoding the game to go to Unreal Engine 4. And that's supposed to release sometime early next year in 2019. All right, so there you go. Now, I know I got off topic a little bit, but that's just something that I wanted to throw in there, because now, you know, we're coming from it was pay to win to now it's pay for convenience. And there's a big, gigantic difference when it comes to pay to win, pay for convenience. And here's the difference I see. If you can obtain certain items, especially crafting items or materials, through doing dungeons or doing quest lines or doing legendary quest lines or doing side quests, and you're able to get ahead, able to make progress in a game, then that in itself just says, hey, I just have to put in the effort and I will get this gear. I just have to put in the effort and I will get whatever it is I need for crafting or whatever side project that I have going on. Black Desert Online allows you to do this to a certain extent, but it takes a long time. And that game there is one that is definitely a no-life game, basically. Not a life game, but a no-life game. You have to put in 24 hours a day with a computer running nonstop, like the one I have over here, the old Two Wicked One. I re-downloaded and did all these other things to it to make it actually do the updates and play the game. Because, you know, the Two Wicked One computer now, baby, it's going on 9 years old. This is that computer we won way back in 2009 from Newegg. And it rock and rolls, you know, on any game. And it even plays Black Desert Online. So now I have my Valkyrie, which is my Master Fisher. She just hit Master Rank Fishing 7 just the other day. So I have her fishing up relics to get scrolls and to sell the fish and have passive income 24 hours a day. Do a restart on the computer once or twice a week and just keep it going. All right, so that's the type of game that is. Also, you have the processing and the life skills and the training, etc. It's just a no life. You have to do nothing but play that game. And I don't like that model. I really don't. And that's why Black Desert Online added a lot of things to this week's patch that people are up in arms about. That is straight up, they're right. It is pay to win now, because you can now buy costumes, melt them down, get cron stones, get Valks, etc., etc. You'll have to look at the patch notes yourself, but it's a pretty lengthy patch that went on today for plussing gear and event items, etc., etc. But basically, that's that they are going in that direction of, and I don't even know, do we call it pay to win? Do we really? Or do we call it pay for convenience? Because you can either grind out silver in the game and buy the same cron stones from a blacksmith, but they're 1 million. I think they're like 1 million or 10 million. I can't even remember. Yeah, they're 1 million silver per cron, but it takes so many tens and hundreds, the higher tiers you get in gear, to actually do these higher attempts. And if you fail, you just lose that. All right. And I believe that's the direction people are looking. Do I just grind my life away for a month, 2 months at a time, go for one attempt, maybe two, and then start the process all over again? And I understand it's a throttle in the game to keep people and everybody from having perfect gear. But in my opinion, it just takes way too long to progress in that game. Now, I did no life and on the game for 4 months solid. And that may not sound like a long time. All right, but for 4 months solid, you guys know that I switched over and we played nothing but Black Desert Online. Okay? And I had my hills and valleys. We had ups and downs. We had an emotional roller coaster going on in that game as far as I feel like I'm making progress, and then bam, no progress. I can't get the plus. I can't get the fail stacks. Why can I not build these fail stacks? Why is it so hard? And that's the number one issue that I've always had about the game. And I know people have these formulas, people have these ways, people have these methods to build fail stacks, but there's 100 different ways people use. They use the steel dagger, they use the reblath, they use the accessories, which is my favorite method, by the way, because you can actually make your silver back from accessories, whether it's rings or necklaces or belts. You make your money back because you have a chance of hitting some blues and some rares up there, some unique items such as ogre rings and congrads, and just depending on what you pick. All right, so that's why I picked that. So I go up and down 10 million, 20 million, up and down all the time as far as trying to build them. But that gets annoying because now, instead of turning into a time sink grinding, we're turning into a time sink just trying to build fail stacks. And so I'm kind of not digging that anymore. All right, I want to play a game. I want to play. And don't get me wrong. I still love Black Desert Online for what it is. It still has the best combat system. It still has the best story progression up to a certain point. It still has the best. I don't get tired of grinding feel to it, because if you can get your character to a certain level on your gear, which the sweet spot for everybody, in my opinion, from just listening and watching and talking to people in game, out of game, on streams, if you could get at least to mostly try, if not all try gear, including accessories, whether it's try Asulas or try accessories being Tungrads, Ogre Ring, Crescent Rings, et cetera, the Ballast Belt, or whatever the belt of choice that you have, if you can get try, or at least duo accessories, try gear, and weapons, then you can have a pretty good time anywhere in the game because you have enough AP to do it. Now, there are certain areas in the game that you're not going to do unless you have full tech gear. I think one place in particular that comes to mind would be the place that just went poof out of my mind, but it's over in the Achman. That's it. Achman being one of them, or the shrine down in the bottom of the map, wherever you have to have 250 AP plus, or in a party of a lot of people in high gear people up there. So, there are there are ways to get that. You can team up, get with a guild, whatever. But that's the sweet spot on it, is try gear. Now, do you want to stay in try gear? No, you don't. You want to go into tech gear. And eventually, now, the way they have it, the people with deep pockets are going to go for those pin attempts. All right? And that's something that I'm really kind of concerned with, is that now we're going to see just how many whales are in Black Desert Online, because this is what they've been waiting for. This is what we've been rumored to have since early spring. All right, that this was the direction that the game was going for the West. Is it the right direction? Personally, I don't think it is. I believe mechanics need to be changed to make it easier to obtain gear through either doing quests or grinding mobs. And what I mean by easier is up the drop rate for certain items, like relics. Okay, I'll go out in the field, and perfect example, I did do a Black Desert Online stream about a week ago. I think it was like last Monday or Tuesday. And all we did was out in the field things. Did nothing in town. We didn't do any plussing. We didn't do any trying to build fail stacks. Just went out and, made silver things and tried to find relics. And I actually used the item finder to say, okay, relics drop here, and that's all we did was just grind it out, and I got a total of all of one relic for like a 6-hour session of nothing but grinding in an area that was supposed to be dropping relics. And that was it. I didn't even get any gear to drop in these areas. It was like, what's going on here? We're supposed to have gear drops. We're supposed to have this. And I actually, I took processing items out there. I collected, like ogre blood in one area. I grinded that for a little while. Did some dailies, et cetera, et cetera. We moved on to another area and did some butchering. And that's all we got. Oh, well, no, I take that back. I did get a hard crystal from doing butchering. I totally forgot about that. I got one relic and one hard, and that was it out of a 6-hour session. That was very disappointing. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let me get the other computer going. That's when I decided, go ahead, re-download it. Let's go ahead, get the 40 gig download out of the way tonight. And then I set up my fisher. The first night I set her up fishing, she caught absolutely 0 relics. And my baby girl usually gets a scroll, if not 2 scrolls a day, all right, in fishing. Because, the higher level fishing that you have, and I know Master 7's not that high, but that's a lot of work put into getting that in itself, okay? But she should at least get 3, maybe even 4 relics in an entire Balanos. I think I have like a +6 Balanos, which is not max, but a +6 Balanos, an ash float, and the river was abundant, so you got to do better than that. Now, I did get hella rares and hella unique fish from the fishing session, but that's not what we were after. We're after relics. But coming into the weekend, as usual, they bump that drop rate up, so don't let them let you think that they can't. And I went from finding 1 relic scroll for the entire 5 days that I had her out there fishing to all of a sudden straight up to 8 of them from Friday to Sunday. So don't tell me they can't bump drop rates up. And I believe that's what they need to do, is actually bump those up, because what they do is allow you to go do these relic scrolls, and then you get this thing called memory fragments, to where you can repair your boss gear, which is the in-game stuff. You can repair your boss gear, and then we go back into the pay-to-win aspect of it. Do I use an artisan memory, which 4 times the repair, whether it's gear to gear or artisan to memory fragment on boss gear, or do we just straight up use memory fragments? And so that's the other choice, pay for convenience, and that's what that big long story was leading up to, is the next aspect of it, which is memory fragments and artisan memories. Gear for gear and artisan memories. Do or do you not use it? And most times I don't. I feel like that if they made at least relics drop 25% more, that they would actually balance the game and bring back a player base to be able to actually do those TED attempts, to do those pin attempts, and then those same people might actually do the costume trick and melt it down a couple of times to get the cronstones, to get the Valks, etc., etc. And I know they do things to offset all of what I said in the game, but it takes so flippin' long to do, and I'm not digging on that. It's a time sink. And quite honestly, like I've told a lot of people here recently, I love playing a variety of games, a core group of like a dozen games. Plus, I like to try out new games when they come out, if they ever come out, because some of them just get pushed back, canceled. Really? I think the one that a lot of people are really getting excited for now, and I have a concern with, is Ashes of Creation. All right, I got a concern similar but different than I did with Bless Online. All right, we're not even going to talk about Bless Fail Line. Not bashing it, just I saw it coming. All right. And there you go. I don't know where else to go with it. So I had to step back personally and say, you know, do I play and stream only the games? Like when I go back, I play Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, which we did for like a month solid. Now we threw a couple other games in there every now and again, but we just played that whenever the ladder reset happened. Like I think it was like 3 or 4 days after the ladder reset, and we just went. And then we got built up. Community helped out. I did a lot of it. And then Kenny and JP from the Gods of Games jumped in, and it was on, buddy. Oh, we had gear then because they know how to do it. Just like I do. All right, so we had the Wonder Team back. And then we had some of the peoples that were new from the community that we played with. We did the bail runs. We did the magic finds. And I got views off of that I didn't expect to get. I got subs off of that and donations off of that I didn't expect to get. And that's on an 18-year-old game. And now playing something more modern, whether it's Path of Exile, I don't get any views on that. Like 2 or 3 people. Not even my core audience watches that. I play Black Desert Online, it bumps back up into the teens and 20s and 30s. All right, I play a game and I flip the script on everybody, go and play Blade and Soul. Nobody watches. I got Guntoad and Drekken up in there. Maybe Ocularis, he's lurking, but that view don't count because he's got me paused or muted. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, that's something I need to actually post out a separate video on and tweet on. If you want to lurk in a channel and you want to actually count as a view on Twitch, go to the settings on a channel that it'll let you do it. All right, go to the stream options, and if you want to lurk but you don't want to use up all your bandwidth or you don't want to hear it, go up to the top of the tab and right click and mute the tab, and then go to a channel on Twitch, all right, that allows you to have streaming options, and put it down to like 160. Put it down to the lowest one and you'll use nothing. All right, you use more bandwidth checking Twitter on your phone after that, and then just minimize that tab and it'll count as a view. But if you pause or mute the actual screen, it will not count as a view, because I see my list every single day. I've got 20 and 30 and 40 people just hanging out in the channel, but I'm not getting it counted as a view because of that. All right, but I digress. So back to this. All right, so what do you do as far as choosing a game? Because there's so many opinions about pay to win, pay for convenience, subscription, non-subscriptions, free to play, buy to play. It's just really very, very weird right now because we haven't had that leapfrog like we did with Black Desert Online whenever it first released. It leapfrogged so many people. Thinking back before that, Arcade. There's another one, but I don't really want to linger on it because you guys know my opinions on this. We've made videos on it. We've discussed it in length on stream. And that was the last evolutionary jump in MMOs since probably 2009 when Terra went free to play. Or what was that, 2010? When Terra went free to play and they went to their elite status model. All right, they, en masse, and Bluehole Studios actually started that model. In my opinion, I think they were like one of the first peoples to actually free to play, pay for convenience, as far as through their elite status, etc., etc. And anything that's obtainable in the cash shop that has anything to do with materials you can get in game. You just have to put in the work to get it. They were one of the first games to actually do that. When Arcade first came out, they were the same way. But there's a lot of guild orientation going on there when it first released also. But the release fiasco kind of made a lot of people leave, which is pretty sad, and it's never recovered ever since. I don't know. So there we go, everybody. That's my ramble. I went off in like 100 different directions, but I wanted to discuss these things because I know, and there's so much more I could go over. We could talk about games all day long. If you want to, and you'd love to continue this discussion, We do it almost every single day. As a matter of fact, as soon as I get some lunch, it's 2:45. I got some hot dogs in the oven. Yeah, I got them in a toaster oven. I smell them right now. They should be almost done. Woo! Yeah, it's just like grilling them, but it's just in the oven, a toaster oven. If you'd like to discuss this topic, or you have an opinion on it, either put it down in the comments or come see us over at twitch.tv/craftchest_MMO. It's craftchest MMO. It's just good old craft chest, everybody. It's a craft of the mind. Go out there and have some fun. And once again, this is just my opinion. Okay, this has nothing to do whatsoever with what you have going on. You do you, baby. But I feel like, in conclusion, some games just make it entirely too difficult. Am I wrong? Am I right? Are you indifferent about it? Do you not give a sheet because you play Peggle or maybe RuneScape?